What is up everyone, it's Saber here and welcome to another Naruto What If you end up liking the video, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can take it back at any time and it really helps me out, and this is my main channel, so if you're interested in what if Naruto had Madara and the Kyuubi sealed inside of him, or what if Naruto was half Viltrumite and half Saiyan, go check out my main channel. And if you're interested in what if Naruto was taken over by the Kyuubi when he was born, or what if Naruto was trained by Itachi after leaving Jiraiya, go check out my second channel. And with all of the YouTube formalities out of the way, let's get into it. While Naruto and his team enjoyed their time at the Hyuga compound, the Hokage received word that the ninja from Whirlpool arrived at the village. The third Hokage immediately called for the council to assemble in order to welcome Naruto back to the village. It was imperative that the first impression Naruto got upon his return was a positive one. As you all must have heard, Naruto and his entourage have arrived in the village. They are waiting outside the door. I will only say this once we get one chance to make a good first impression, so let's not do anything that will jeopardize Naruto's desire to be a part of our village. Have we decided on whose team we will be placing the boy? Asked the civilian council member. I have chosen to place him under Kakashi Hatake. Kakashi was a student of Naruto's father and is the best person to tell Naruto of the love his parents had for our village. As for his teammates, it will be Hinata Hyuga and Sasuke Uchiha. When the Hokage said this, it sent a wave of murmurs through the room. The heirs of the Hyuga, Uchiha and Namikaze on the same team, they could be the next Sannin, exclaimed a council member. Many in the room seemed to agree with the sentiment. While the Hyuga heir, I'm sure, was chosen for obvious reasons, what might have led you to pick the Uchiha heir as the third teammate? Sarutobi. It was Danzo who had spoken. Sasuke Uchiha is the rookie of the year and Kakashi is the only leaf ninja that can properly train him in the use of the Sharingan. He will make the perfect third member of the team. Danzo shook his head. As an adult would when listening to a child's wild imaginings. Are you truly naive, Sarutobi, or are you just that behind in your intelligence? There was an uproar at Danzo's clear disrespect of the Hokage. The third raised his hand to silence the room. And what exactly do you mean by that, Danzo? Sarutobi knew that though dealing with Danzo was awkward and often painful, he always had a reason for his actions. What I mean is that even I know placing the three of them together will end in blood being spilled within the first team meeting. This statement caused great confusion throughout the room. Care to elaborate, Danzo, and stop with the riddles? What do you know? Asked the Hokage. I know that for the last 2 months at least, the Uchiha heir has been pursuing a personal relationship with Hinata Hyuga. Everyone in the room turned to Hayashi. Hayashi, for his part, showed nothing outwardly in his mind. However, he wondered how Danzo knew what he did. Danzo is correct. I have spoken with the Uchiha heir and informed him that my daughter is not available. He didn't take it well. Hayashi remembered perfectly that Sasuke had stormed out if a childish fit of anger. I also know that earlier today there was a confrontation between the Namikaze and Uchiha heirs. It ended with Sasuke Uchiha being attacked by the Namikaze for trying to take liberties with Hinata Hyuga. The room was filled with shouts and arguments. Once again, silence. We will deal with that problem, I assure you. Hayashi. Hayashi looked at the third as if saying, you bet we will. Now let us welcome our guest. We have much to discuss. The Hokage signaled for a ninja to open the door and let the Whirlpool entourage into. His surprise and that of the council, with the exception of Hayashi, who was having a difficult time not smirking, that the only person to walk in was a beautiful woman in a tiny pink kimono. The woman didn't need to introduce herself. Every ninja in the room knew who she was, if only by reputation. Her description and aura was enough proof for the ninja leaders to know who this was. This was the famed leader of Whirlpool's spy network, the world's most renowned weapons mistress, Shigeru Kosaka, the Phantom of Whirlpool. Who are you and where is Naruto? Namikaze asked Saoki Haruno. Shigeru ignored the pink-haired woman. She simply addressed the Hokage. I am here to collect the keys to the Namikaze clan compound. As per the agreement with the Uzumaki daimyo, we were under the impression that young Naruto would be coming with you, answered the third Hokage. Naruto was eager to meet with his betrothed. He will meet with you tomorrow before the introduction ceremony. The council didn't look pleased by the news. I suppose that is understandable. We were hoping to introduce him to his new sensei and inform him of his new teammates. We believe he will be pleased with our decision. Shigeru's demeanor hardened. Naruto has no need for a new team or a new sensei, she said in a firm tone. Perhaps it is different in Whirlpool, but if Naruto is to go on missions for the Leaf, he will need a team and sensei. The Hokage told Shigeru. Naruto is a part of a 3-man team and I am his sensei, answered Shigeru as she pulled a scroll from her kimono. She handed it to a ninja who took it to the Hokage. This scroll says that his teammates are Haku of the Yuki clan and Kimimaro of the Kagaya clan. They are not only his teammates, but will also be acting as Naruto's bodyguards. That is Correct, answered Shigeru. My team and I will actively go on missions for your village as agreed, but as a Whirlpool ninja Naruto will be under my command while on those missions. The council and the Hokage didn't look happy that their plan was foiled before it began, but agreed in the end. Shigeru received the keys to the Namake's compound and agreed to bring her team to meet with the council and the Hokage before the introduction ceremony. The following morning, a silent assailant crept through the halls of the Namake's compound. His target was none other than Naruto Uzumaki. The assailant had made it into the room of his intended target without the bodyguards and was now standing over Naruto ready to strike. He took a moment to savor his victory, a glint of satisfaction in his dark-colored eyes. Then the attack hit its unsuspecting prey. A frantic scream was heard coming from Naruto's room. Kimimaro and Haku rushed to Naruto's room with weapons drawn and ready to defend their friend. What they were not ready to see was an enraged and totally drenched Naruto throwing shuriken at a small gray mouse that stood on his hind legs like a human and had a pink ribbon tied to the end of his tail. The mouse evaded Naruto's attacks with the skill of a ninja and was obviously laughing at Naruto. Both Kimimaro and Haku relaxed when they saw there was no danger. Naruto stopped attacking and turned to see that Shigeru had entered the room. Takamaru wasted no time in making his way to her. He quickly climbed to stand on her left shoulder. What the hell, sensei? Why did Takamaru hit me with a water balloon? Screamed a still pissed off Naruto. I gave him the task of waking you up. Perhaps I should have told him to be less enthusiastic about it. Naruto grumbled but said nothing. He would get the little hairball later. Uzumaki, don't just get mad. Get ready. We will have breakfast before meeting with the council. Will Hinata Heim and her family be there? Asked Naruto. Yes, her family will be there so that she can be introduced as your betrothed. Then I guess I can deal with the council for a short while. As Naruto and his party got ready for their meeting with the council, Hinata was at the academy receiving the news of who would be her new teammates. Now Team 7 will be Sasuke Uchiha Sakura Haruno, and our new transfer student Sayu will be under Kakashi Hatake. Sasuke was furious. He had done his research. It was always tradition to place the top male and the top female students with the dead last of the class. That meant that he should have been placed with Hinata. He grit his teeth. Someone had to have changed the teams this time. Team 8 will be Kiba Inazuka, Hinata Hyuga, and Shino Aburame. You will be under Kurina Yuhi. Hinata and her friends were ecstatic that they were going to be on a team together. They all had been worried that they would be split up. All the worrying had been for nothing. The Hokage had to change his plans and decided to not place Hinata and Sasuke in the same team. And finally, since Team 9 is still active, Team 10 will be Shikamaru Naraino Yamanaka and Choji Akimichi. You will be under Azuma Sarutobi. After congratulating all of the new Genin, Irika had one final announcement. I want to let all of you know that there will be a very important ceremony from the top of the Hokage Tower later today. The Hokage has made it mandatory for the entire village because we will be celebrating the return of the son of the fourth Hokage, Naruto Namikaze. That announcement caused excitement throughout the room. Hinata frowned. She knew that Naruto hated it when they called him by his father's name. He had told her that he was proud of his heritage, but that was an Uzumaki first and foremost. Irika-sensei, why are we only hearing of him now, whereas Naruto Namikaze, been the son of the fourth Hokage, should have been here in the village, right? Asked Ino. There was a murmur of agreement from the rest of the Genin. Irika hesitantly answered her question. When he was young, he was sent to live with his mother's family before she married the fourth Hokage. Kushina Namikaze was Kushina Uzumaki, princess of Whirlpool country. She died during childbirth, and the fourth Hokage died fighting the nine-tailed fox. That same day, the Uzumaki took custody of young Naruto when he was 5, and he has lived in Whirlpool country since then. He has chosen to return to be a ninja of the village, as his parents were before him. The Hokage will make the announcement during the ceremony. That is all the information I have now. I suggest you all go and get ready. As all of the Genin were making their way out, Hinata couldn't help but overhear some of the things the others were saying. Did you hear that a real prince? Squealed one of the girls. Yeah, and if he looks anything like the fourth, you know he's probably gorgeous, said Ino. Hey, what about Sasuke? Traitors, yelled Sakura. Ino shrugged. The only person he has ever shown interest in is Hinata, and we're talking about the prince of a whole country. If you marry him, you become a real princess, maybe a queen. If he becomes daimyo, Hinata would have loved. Shut them up. The thought of a few well-placed palm strikes almost made her smile, but Hinata knew the joke would be on them when they found out about her and Naruto. With that thought in mind, Hinata left them to their arguments and fantasies. Naruto and his team had made their way to the Hokage Tower. He was about to meet the Hokage and the council that he had despised for so long. If it had been up to them, Naruto would never have met his family, never met his friends, and never met Hinata. Naruto was ready for them. His grandfather had prepared him to deal with politicians. As they were led into the council room, Naruto showed complete confidence he would show no weakness to them. The Leaf leaders must learn that he was an Uzumaki and one should be wary of messing with an Uzumaki. Naruto walked in with Haku and Kimimaro flanking him and Shigure behind him. The room was filled with people. Naruto recognized some of them, the ones that had visited Whirlpool years ago. They were all standing in front of him. The large table that normally was in the center of the room had been removed. The Hokage and his advisors were now standing in the center of the room. The third stepped forward, a smile on his face as he welcomed Naruto. Naruto, welcome back. You have grown much, I see. It is great to see you again. Naruto's temper flared. He remembered the Hokage. The third Hokage was the only person he remembered being nice to him during his stay in this village. Of course, now he knew it was the Hokage that had actively kept him from his family. He kept a neutral mask on his face as he answered the old man. Thank you for your kind words, Lord Hokage. You're more than welcome. We are happy to have you back, and I for one expect great things from you. Your parents were two of the finest ninja I have ever met, and I'm sure you will follow in their footsteps. My team and I will do our best to fulfill our duty to the alliance between my clan and your village. The Leaf leaders didn't like the sound of that answer. It was clear that Naruto didn't consider himself connected to the village at all. They would have to try harder to change his mind. That's great to hear. By now the people of the village should be gathered outside. It's time to introduce you to them. They are looking forward to meeting the son of the Minato Namikaze. I will be introduced as an Uzumaki. Or not at all, said Naruto. That made everyone in the stop and look at him. What do you mean, asked one of the council members. You're the last of the Namikaze. Why wouldn't we introduce you as one, asked another. Because I know exactly what you are trying to do. I don't answer to the Namikaze. Name. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I will not be used for your political games. The only reason I'm even setting foot in this place is because I didn't want to wait 4 years to see Hinata. The third could see this heading to an argument and wanted to stop it before it started. Perhaps a compromise can be reached. We can know you made the choice to give me the Uzumaki name. Remember, now you have to live with that choice, Lord Hokage. To the Hokage, Naruto never looked more like his parents. He could see his father's intellect combined with his mother's fierce determination. He knew better than to try and argue with someone with an immovable will. Yes, I suppose I do, don't I? I would like to speak to you in private when we have more time. I look forward to it, Naruto said neutrally. They all made their way to the top of the tower where Hinata, Hana, and Hanabi were waiting for them. Naruto brightened up when he saw Hinata. She was the reason why he was willing to put up with being in the Leaf Village. He would remind himself of that fact when he continued to deal with the council and the Hokage. Keeping his anger in check was going to be more difficult than he had anticipated. As requested by the Hokage, the entire village had gathered in front of the Hokage Tower and was waiting for the ceremony to begin. They didn't have to wait for long as the Hokage and the village council soon arrived. The Hokage stepped forward to address the people. People of the Leaf, 12 years ago our great village suffered an attack from a monster that was as dangerous and powerful as any army. A great many of our ninja fought and died to defend our people. We lost mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters. We were on the verge of annihilation, but we were saved by one of our greatest ninja, one of our greatest leaders, Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage of the village. Hidden in the Leafs, the village erupted into cheers. In the mentioning of the fourth Hokage, the fourth gave his life so that our village could survive. As many of you know, his own wife had died giving birth to their only child that very day. For many years it was believed that their child had died that day, ending the line of the Namikaze, but that was not the case. It was a lie fabricated to protect him. 7 years ago he was sent to live with his mother's family and has been away from our village until today. Today he has returned as a proud ninja, representative of an allied nation and a future leader of their people. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina, Uzumaki Namikaze. This is Naruto Uzumaki, crowned prince of Whirlpool country. Naruto stepped forward as the Leaf village cheered. He looked into the masses. He could hardly stomach the hypocrisy. Only 7 years ago they all treated him like demon, like a worthless piece of trash, but he would not let his emotions rule him. Naruto would use all his training and act as the heir of Whirlpool is expected to act like. Thank you, Lord Hokage. I am glad to be here and to represent my home and my clan, the Uzumaki. This will be a valuable experience for me, one that I hope will help me become a great leader for my people once I take the throne or Whirlpool. I look forward to getting to know the village that my parents loved so much, and more importantly the village that someone very important to me loves as well. The person that is the reason I'm here, that is someone I would like to join me here. I would like to formally introduce to all of you my betrothed and future queen of Whirlpool, Hinata Hyuga, heiress of the Hyuga clan. While many of the older generation already knew of the betrothal, the younger didn't. They had interesting reactions to Naruto's declaration. Sasuke was seething in rage. Not only had that bastard humiliated him, he had taken the girl he had chosen to be his future wife. He would not let that happen. He would show that blonde idiot who was the true elite. Next time he saw Amino, who was standing Next to Sakura had her mouth hanging open as she saw Hinata standing next to the unbelievably hot blonde. It wasn't fair, no way, not only is Sasuke after her but now she is going to marry the prince and son of the 4th Hokage. Whatever, it's not like he is better. That Sasuke-kun, answered Sakura. Will the both of you quiet down? This whole thing is a real drag. Both girls turned to see Shikamaru and Choji. Behind them. You don't understand, slacker. I would kill to be in Hinata's shoes. She is so lucky, whined Ino. That sentiment was shared by a large number of girls in the village. You're right, I don't get it. It would be too troublesome to care that much about someone I have never met before. For all you know, this Naruto guy can be a real pain in the oh please, he's a prince. I'm sure he is real gentleman. Nothing like you lazy bums. Guess we'll find out, won't we, since he'll be taking missions with us, said Shikamaru. Before Ino or Sakura answered, Iruka-sensei walked up to them. Good, the 4 of you are here. I was asked to tell all of the top genin to join the council and the Hokage in training ground 1. He is going to have the young prince and his team demonstrate their skills by sparring with some of you. Sakura and Ino dragged Shikamaru and Choji to the training ground where the rest of their teams were already waiting for them. Thank you all for coming in such short notice. As you all now know, Naruto and his team will be joining all of you as genin in the service of the leaf, but because they have been trained in a foreign nation, we do not know enough about their skill to know what missions they are ready to take. Each member of Naruto's team will spar with one of you to give us an idea of their skill level. The leaf genin agreed to participate, well, all except Shikamaru, who, though it was too troublesome, the first to spar for the Whirlpool team will be Kimimaro Kagaya. Who would like to be his opponent? They asked the Hokage. I would like to volunteer, Hokage-sama. It was Sai, who was wearing a fake smile that everyone though is rather creepy. Kimimaro and Sai walked to the center of the field and prepared to fight. Sai started his fight by throwing several shuriken at Kimimaro, who simply batted them away with a swing of his left hand and charged straight at Sai with impressive speed. Sai had thrown the shuriken in hopes of placing some distance between himself and Kimimaro so he could use his ink ninjutsu. Kimimaro didn't give him the time and Sai had no choice but to go for his ninjutsu and charge at Kimimaro. Kimimaro blocked Sai's blade with his forearm and delivered a staggering blow to Sai's face, sending him tumbling across the training ground. When Sai shakily tried to get up, he swiftly found a pointy object pressed on his neck. Sai carefully looked to his right and saw a sharp bone knife sticking out of Kimimaro's palm pressed against his neck. Winner of the match is Kimimaro Kagaya. Wordlessly, Kimimaro made his way to Naruto's side where he was congratulated by his friends. Haku then made her way to the center of the training ground. Next up is Haku Yuki, who would like, I'll do it, Hokage-sama. Ino was not going to let this chance get past her. She wanted to impress the prince. As Ino made her to the center of the training ground, she carefully analyzed her opponent. Ino begrudgingly had to admit it, the girl was beautiful. She couldn't tell how good a figure she had because of the loose-fitting kimono Haku was wearing. Ino noticed that Haku was carrying a sword strapped to her left hip. She is carrying a smaller sword than the katana the prince is carrying. It likely means she is either a long-range fighter, which would be perfect for me, or a really close-range fighter, and I'll have to be careful. Ino thought. Ready, begin. Ino started much like Sai had and launched several kunai knives at Haku, neutralized them by throwing senbon at them. Ino was surprised that the girl was good enough to pull that off. Ino was more surprised when Haku started going through hand signs, water-style water bullet jutsu. Ino barely able to dodge the large blast of water that shot from Haku's mouth. When the attack ended, Ino was breathing heavily as she was horribly out of shape. Ino didn't get much time to rest as several Haku clones rose from the puddles of water that surrounded her. Water clones? You can't be serious. Ino did her best to fight of the multiple opponents that came at her from all sides, but in the end it proved useless. The clones quickly overwhelmed Ino and had her pinned to the ground with kunai and senbon pressed against her neck. Winner of the match is Haku Yuki. Haku smiled happily as she dispelled the clones and made her way to her team. Unfortunately for Ino, when the clones dispelled, they totally drenched her in water. Ino was furious. She had never been so humiliated in her life, and it wasn't just in front of Sasuke and the prince, but in front of her father and the Hokage too. Ino vowed to get the bitch back for this. Naruto calmly made his way to the center of the training ground. He could hardly contain his face from smirking. The look on the council's face as his teammates decimated their top genin was priceless. Naruto planned on continuing the trend. He wanted to make sure the leaf knew they were real ninja and not to be underestimated, because they came from a country that was dominated by samurai, and it looked like he was going to enjoy it too, since before the Hokage could even ask, the Uchiha had already stepped forward glaring at Naruto. Naruto smirked. Then oh boy, was Naruto going to enjoy this. Ready, begin. Naruto didn't look bothered by the start of the match. In fact, he looked rather bored, which only pissed off Sasuke even more. You think you're special, don't you, just because you're the prince of some backwater rock in the middle of nowhere? Don't make me laugh. I'm going to show you what a true elite is capable of. Are you going to talk me to death, or are you actually going to do something? Asked Naruto in a bored tone. Sasuke had enough and charged at Naruto using his family's taijutsu. Sasuke tried to land a hit on Naruto, who avoided the Uchiha's attacks with ease. Knowing how frustrated the Uchiha was becoming, Naruto decided to further irritate the Uchiha. So this is the famed interceptor fist of the Uchiha clan. Pathetic, he said as he continued to avoid Sasuke's attacks. Do you want me to let you know, and on a secret, the reason why it's so easy for me to avoid your attacks is because I'm very familiar with its patterns, and I should be, since they were stolen from the Uzumaki taijutsu style. What the hell are you talking about? This is the style that my clan has always used. Not really, your clan has only been using the interceptor style for about 90 years or so. It's just a bastard version of the Uzumaki style that your ancestors tried to steal from mine. Unfortunately for them, the Uzumaki style can't be duplicated by a non-Uzumaki. Not even your precious Sharingan can copy it. Your clan had to settle for cheap imitations, which is all you're using against me right now. Lies, you don't know anything about my family. Sasuke raged as he redoubled his efforts and attacked blindly, making it easy for Naruto to sidestep him and causing Sasuke to lose his footing. The result was Sasuke landing face first on the ground. Sasuke was physically uninjured, but his pride burned, was mortally wounded. He was not only being made to look a fool, this bastard was insulting and defaming his great clan. Let me show you the true power of the Uzumaki style. Naruto then took a stance. He bent his knees, his left was arm stuck forward while his right cocked back with a closed fist as if ready to punch on the sidelines. Oh, is going to use that move. Naruto-sama must still be upset at the Uchiha from what happened yesterday, said Haku. Kimimaro simply nodded in agreement. Naruto-kun needs to learn to restrain himself, said Shigeru. With Naruto, Sasuke was on his feet and took a defensive stance. Bring it, loser, I'm ready for it. Naruto smirked. If that's the way you want it, fine by me. Uzumaki style Gatatsu. Before Sasuke can even blink, Naruto's fist connects with his face with devastating power, sending Sasuke rocketing across the training ground. He landed unconscious a few feet from the Hokage and the council, who were in absolute shock from the speed and power Naruto had just displayed. Naruto calmly walked back to his team as if it was no big deal. What the hell just happened? Asked one of the civilians who couldn't follow what had happened. He used an Uzumaki technique, one that usually is used with the sword, to get an instant kill. I'm not too familiar with it, but I know the Uzumaki use a powerful thrust to cross short distances and bypass an opponent's defenses with their impressive speed. The key to the technique is in the stance they use, but I know that there's more to it that is only known to the Uzumaki. Regardless, it was a very impressive set of sparring matches, said the Hokage. The third thanked everyone for participating and told the Genin that their teachers would contact them to start their training. In Naruto's case, he told Shigeru that she could meet with him later that day to discuss how to proceed with her team's duties to the village. Naruto and his friends walked Hinata home. So far, Naruto couldn't complain too much about his stay in the Leaf Village. He would have to see how things continued. One thing was for sure, he would never let his guard down. He would be ready for anything that came his way. And with his worthy allies, he knew that no matter what, he would always have people he could trust at his side. Time skipped. The day after the introduction ceremony, Naruto found himself in one of the only places in the Leaf Village that he had been looking forward to visiting, the Leaf Village Cemetery. Naruto was grateful to have Hinata standing next to him. This was difficult, but having Hinata with him helped. When Hinata volunteered to give Naruto and his team a tour of the village, Naruto knew this was the first place he wanted to see. Now he stood in the center of this sacred ground, looking at a pair of gravestones bearing the names of two of the most important people of his life, Minato Namake's Kushina, Uzumaki Namake's. Naruto had always wanted to see his parents' resting place. Naruto still felt that his mother should be with the rest of the Uzumaki clan. If the leaf ever provoked him, Naruto would make sure to bring both of his parents' bodies back to Whirlpool where they belonged. Hello Mom, Dad, I have wanted to come visit you for a long time. There is so much I want to tell you. While the first years of my life were hard, I now live in Whirlpool with grandfather and uncle. I am very happy now, and I will do everything in my power to be a great leader to our people. I'm going to be spending some time in this village that you both loved so much. I may not feel the same way about the leaf that you do, but I'm here for an important reason, for someone important to me, someone I would like for you to meet. This is my betrothed Hinata. Hyuga. Hinata, who had been standing next to Naruto, gave a small bow to the gravestones before speaking. It is an honor to meet you, Lord Hokage. Lady Kushina, I just want to let you know that I care for your son very much, and I will do my best to help him and fulfill his dreams and make him happy. Naruto smiled at Hinata and took hold of her hand. They spent some time together while Haku and Kimimaro watched from a short distance away, not wanting to intrude on such a personal moment for them at the Hokage Tower. While Naruto and Hinata were spending some time together, Sasuke was having a hard Time controlling his temper. What do you mean you won't give me a rematch? That loser cheated somehow. It's the only way. That silence. You are not here to discuss a rematch with anybody. You are here so we can tell you what disciplinary actions will be taken against you for the assault on Hinata. Hyuga, what? I didn't do anything, yelled Sasuke. Well, several witnesses say otherwise, answered the Hokage. These are unacceptable actions. For a leaf ninja you will be on probation for the next 6 months, and a fine of 20,000 ryo will be paid by the Uchiha account to the Hyuga clan. If something like this happens again, the consequences for you will be far more serious. Do you understand? Yes sir, answered Sasuke through gritted teeth. He didn't care about the money. This was just another humiliation to him. By that Namikaze bastard Sasuke would make him pay. He would show Naruto that the Uchiha were the greatest clan, and Hinata would be his wife whether she wanted to be or not. Once Naruto had paid his respects to his parents, Hinata thought it would be good for Naruto to get to see some of the village. Naruto had not spoken much and his silence was making Hinata worry. She was thinking of where she should take Naruto to cheer him up when suddenly Naruto stopped. Hinata turned to look at him and saw Naruto sniffing the air. Hinata could swear Naruto's eyes had a star-like shine for a split second. Let's go this way, yelled Naruto, as he grabbed Hinata's hand and dragged her down the shopping district. With Haku and Kimimaro following right behind. Hinata didn't know what had possessed Naruto so suddenly, but she was glad that he wasn't brooding anymore. Naruto stopped running and Hinata saw they had halted in front of a little food shack. Naruto looked breathlessly excited as his eyes riveted themselves to the name sign above the entrance. Ichiraku Ramen. Hey, let's get something to eat. Is it okay if we eat here? Hinata smiled. Sure, let's get some lunch. As the four of them entered the small stand, Hinata recognized two of the occupants right away. Shikamaru Nara sat lazily against the counter while Choji Akimchi was eating ramen at an incredible speed. Hello Shikamaru. Choji, how are you two doing today? Oh hey, Hinata said Choji. Shikamaru was too lazy to speak to. He just waved hello. Naruto took a seat next to Hinata and quickly ordered 4 bowls of ramen while his companions ordered 1 bowl each. Are you sure you should eat that much? Naruto-kun asked Hinata. When it comes to ramen, no one can eat more than me, said Naruto. Choji's ears twitched when he heard that no Akimichi could hear a statement like that and not do something about it. I hate to disagree with you, Naruto-sama, but as an Akimichi, I have to tell you that we can eat more than anyone else, especially when the food is this good. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Is that so? That sounds like a challenge to me. Shikamaru sighed. This is going to be real troublesome. Hinata smiled at Shikamaru. She knew Naruto was very competitive, especially when it came to his favorite food. Hinata, Haku and Kimimaro calmly enjoyed their meal while Naruto and Choji battled it out in a fierce ramen eating contest. 1 hour and over 30 bowls of ramen for Naruto and Choji. Choji looked on in dismay. Naruto had not only matched him bowl for bowl, but now held a 3-bowl lead on him. What was worse, for the first time Choji could remember there was delicious food in front of him that he didn't think he could eat. I surrender, said Choji. Naruto finished his bowl before he answered, well, that was by far the most difficult eating challenge I ever had. I don't think I could have eaten another bowl. I can see why your clan claims to be the best. If you ever want a rematch, I would love to give you another shot, Naruto said. Choji cheered up a bit. He may have lost today, but there would be a chance for a rematch. I think you just want an excuse to pig out on ramen again, Naruto-sama said Haku. Naruto scratched the back of his head and laughed. He knew he was caught. That didn't mean he hadn't enjoyed the match. It was great to meet a fellow ramen lover. So what are you guys up to today? Asked Shikamaru. I'm showing them around the village since we all start missions tomorrow, and it will be more difficult to spend time together, answered Hinata. That makes sense, said Choji. We're going to enjoy our last day off by going cloud watching at usual spot and play some shogi, said Shikamaru. Shogi, asked Haku. Yes, do you play? All of us were taught to play shogi and other strategy games, she answered. Really, do you want to play a game? Asked Shikamaru. There's a park with some tables nearby, we could go there. Shikamaru was always up to playing shogi with new people. Haku turned to look at Naruto to see if it was okay. Naruto for his part was too full of ramen to go walking around, so this was a great idea to him. He gave Haku a nod of approval. After paying for their meals, everyone made their way to the park that Shikamaru had mentioned. Once there, Shikamaru procured a portable shogi board, but Naruto raised a hand to signal him to stop. Please allow me to provide the board, said Naruto. Naruto then pulled a scroll from his kimono and proceeded to unseal the most luxurious shogi set Shikamaru had ever seen. It was the type of set that only daimyos could afford. Shikamaru knew of the Uzumaki clan's immense wealth, but seeing proof of it with your own eyes was an entirely a different matter. Putting that aside for the moment, Shikamaru concentrated on the game that was about to begin. 1 hour later, Shikamaru stared at the board with sweat on his brow. He had just finished one of the hardest games of shogi he had ever played. The only person that had given him a tougher time was his father. To have a young beautiful girl not much older than him give him Such trouble was difficult for the lazy genius to believe. It looks like you win the game. Shikamaru-san, it was a good game, said Haku. You were amazing. How did you get to be so good, asked Shikamaru. Ishida-sensei taught the three of us how to play, though I'm not as good as Naruto-sama. I learned much from our sensei. Shikamaru was surprised to hear that someone else's age was so good at shogi, and even more astounded to hear that Naruto was even better than her. Shikamaru would love to play against Naruto. If what Haku said was true, Naruto must have noticed the look on Shikamaru's face, because he smiled at him indulgently. I would love to play you sometime, but I think that it's about time we continue our tour since we start missions tomorrow, said Naruto. Sure, I look forward to the game, answered Shikamaru. After the group picked up and said their goodbyes, the group split and Hinata led Naruto and his team to another part of the village. A short time later, Naruto found himself standing at the top of the Hokage monument overlooking the Leaf Village. Naruto may still have reservations about this village, but even he had to admit that standing on top of his father's head with an arm round his precious Hinata, Naruto felt pretty happy. If only he didn't have to deal with the stupidity of the village leaders, and to a lesser extent the villagers themselves. This situation wouldn't be so bad. At least the villagers hadn't tried anything stupid yet. Naruto hoped that his team at least received interesting missions. It was about the only thing he had been looking forward to. About tomorrow back in Whirlpool, just about everything was done for Naruto, and he was eagerly awaiting being able to finally put all his training to use. Unfortunately for Naruto and his team, they were in for an unpleasant surprise. The next day, Naruto, Haku and Kimamaru were led by Shigeru to the Hokage Tower to receive their first mission. After waiting a few minutes, they were led into the Hokage's office where the Hokage and some Chunin were handing out missions. Team Whirlpool reporting for duty. Lord Hokage, said Shigeru in her monotone tone of voice. Welcome, I look forward to seeing how well you all perform your duties. We are ready to receive our first mission, replied Shigeru. Excellent, I think I have the perfect one for you, said the Hokage. 2 hours later. You have got to be kidding me, exclaimed Naruto, as he stared at the target his team had been tasked with capturing. Said target was purring happily in Haku's arms. I don't know what's worse, that our first ninja mission was to catch a cat, or that it took us 2 hours to get the blasted fur ball. That comment got Naruto an angry hiss from the mentioned fur ball. That wasn't a nice thing to say, Naruto-sama, chided Haku. Naruto sighed. Let's just get him to the tower so we can get a new mission. Team Whirlpool made their way to the Hokage Tower. Once there, the Hokage and his team were surprised to see them, especially with the cat Tora in their custody. My team has completed their objective, Hokage-sama, said Shigeru. I'm very impressed. It usually takes the average genin team most of the day to locate and capture Tora. No matter, we have plenty of other missions for your team to choose from. Let's see, we have some grocery shopping for an elderly couple, trash cleanup at the river area. And it was at this point that Naruto felt he had to speak up. Excuse me, Lord Hokage, but these missions of yours seem to be little more than chores. I don't see how they can be considered ninja missions. The Hokage laughed lightly. Genin always complained about their missions. It looked like Naruto's team was no different. Naruto, there's a reason why we have these types of missions for newly graduated genin. You see, a new team needs these missions so the team members can get familiar with each other and build teamwork while safely within the village. Once their sensei believes they are ready, we start giving them more dangerous missions outside the safety of the village walls. Naruto nodded. That makes sense. However, my team and I don't require working on teamwork. We have been training together along with our sensei for several years now. We know and trust each other. Absolutely, using us for these types of missions is a waste of our talents. I'm confident that we can handle a higher mission. The Hokage stroked his beard. As he thought about it, he knew that Naruto's team was above an average genin level. Perhaps it was better if he gave them a higher mission. It could be a good opportunity to gain some favor with Naruto. I will look into giving you a higher mission today. We only have D rank missions for genin teams, but perhaps tomorrow we can have a C rank for your team. Naruto didn't look happy of having to do more D rank missions, but at least tomorrow he might get something better. Later that day, Naruto and Hinata met in the Namake's compound to talk about their day and their missions. And then we had to go shopping for people's groceries. How are those things considered ninja missions? Hinata giggled. She knew it was frustrating for Naruto. Kiba had been very vocal about his displeasure of D rank missions too. Well, maybe you will get a better mission tomorrow. My team will be doing D ranks for weeks before we are ready for his C rank mission. But you said that you work great together with Kiba and Shino. Why would you have to wait so long, asked Naruto. Yes, but we still need to learn teamwork and training to be able to use our abilities as a unit, not just in battle, but in other situations too. All that takes time. Also, Kurenai-sensei will be teaching us exercises that are not part of our clan training. I'm sure your team will be ready for higher missions faster than the other Leaf genin. None of them looked very impressive, to be honest with you. Many don't take their training seriously, but if they pass their sensei's test, then they, at the very least, then they have the potential to be better. It's up to their sensei to bring out that potential. I Guess I don't envy that they have a lot of work to do. Hinata smiled, but before she could answer Haku walked into the room. Naruto-sama, there is someone here for Lady Hinata. Shortly afterward a person wearing Hyuga robes walked in. Hinata tensed up when she saw her cousin Neji come in with a frown on his face. Hinata-sama, I was sent to collect you. Your father wanted to make sure you arrived on time. Naruto didn't like the way Neji spoke to Hinata. He knew about the grudge Neji held against the main branch of the Hyuga clan. Naruto couldn't even blame him for it, but that didn't mean he had to like Niji's attitude. I see, I didn't realize it was so late. I have to go now. Naruto-kun, I will try to see you tomorrow. Okay, sure, we'll talk some more tomorrow. Naruto hugged Hinata goodbye and watched as she left with her cousin. That Hyuga seemed to have some hostility towards Lady Hinata, said Haku. That was her cousin Neji Hyuga. He has a grudge against every Hyuga that is part of the main branch. It's a long story, but he blames them for his father's death. From what Hinata has told me, he has every right to be mad, but I still don't like his attitude towards Hinata. It's too bad he feels that way, but it is a family matter. I know, and I'll stay out of it. It's just that I know how much it bothers Hinata. She wants her clan to be united, a family, but no matter how hard her father tries, the elders and main branch members always fight him to keep things the same. I guess all I can do is support Hinata as much as I can. Come, Naruto-sama, we should get ready for dinner. Okay, we do have a busy day tomorrow, especially if we get a good mission. It would be nice to have a chance to test our skills, said Haku. We will show everyone the strength of Whirlpool Ninja. Yes, we will do our best to help you succeed, Naruto-sama. Naruto smiled at Haku and both made their way to the dining room where Kimimaro was waiting for them. Naruto noticed that Shigeru was gone, whereas Sensei Kimimaro shrugged. Shigeru was always doing this. Naruto guessed it had something to do with being a master of spies. Naruto didn't worry about it too much. After all, if anybody could take care of themselves, it was Shigeru. At a dango shop in the business district, Anko Mitarashi likes the simple things in life. She likes a good fight, cheap booze, and tasty dango. That's why she was entering her favorite bar after a long day of entertaining prisoners in the information retrieval and interrogations department. Her mood changed very suddenly when Anko saw someone sitting at her favorite table. The regulars of the shop knew that was her seat and learned the hard way not to sit there on the days Anko was known to be there. She chose another table and had a seat. Anko the usual, asked the shop owner as he placed a bottle of sake and a small sake dish in front of her. You know it, but hey, who is that at my table? I haven't seen her before. Don't know. She showed up a while ago. She ordered some dango but hasn't said much to anyone, said the shop owner. Anko looked at the woman sitting at her table. While she drank her sake, she was wearing a tiny purple kimono and had a long sword leaning against the table. There was something about the woman that made Anko nervous. Anko couldn't place her finger on it, but she could tell this woman was not someone to mess with lightly. Just then Anko noticed one of the guys sitting on a table near the woman get up and walk towards her. Even from where Anko was sitting, she could tell the man had been drinking too much. He wasn't even walking straight. This should be fun to watch, thought Anko, as she saw the man approach the woman with Shigeru. Shigeru was enjoying her dango when she saw a man, a ninja of Chunin rank by the uniform he was wearing, approaching her. Hey there, gorgeous, I haven't seen you around here before, said the man, his voice slightly slurred. Shigeru ignored him without even acknowledging him. This upset the inebriated man. Hey, I'm talking to you, the man said loudly. He made the mistake of putting his hand on Shigeru to get her attention before his hand could touch her. There was a blur of movement from Shigeru and the man found his hand skewered by a dango stick. The man screamed in pain. What the hell, you crazy bitch, he raged at her again. Shigeru didn't bother to look at him and continued to eat her dango. By then two of the man's friends made their way to stand next to him. Who do you think you are, screamed another. All three men had pulled kunai and it looked like a fight was inevitable. However, before either of the men could move, there was another blur from Shigeru. At first nothing happened, but as the men recovered from their confusion, cuts appeared all over their clothing. A second later, all of the men's clothing fell off, having been cut to shreds. Ha 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 ha. Everyone in the bar laughed at the now naked men, Anko laughing the loudest. The men ran out of the bar as fast as they could and Shigeru resumed her meal, only to be joined by a purple-haired woman wearing a tan-colored trench coat. Hey there, the woman said with a wave as she sat herself across from Shigeru and placed a sake bottle and a rather large plate of dango in front of herself. That was some nice work you did back there. I'm impressed. Shigeru glanced at the woman but didn't answer. Not much of a talker. Huh, that's okay. I'm Anko Mitarashi. What's your name? Shigeru. Kosaka. Shigeru. Huh, well, Shigeru-chan, I like your style and I think we are going to be good friends. You and I just know it, Anko said with a devilish grin on her face. Back in the Namikaze compound, Naruto and his team suddenly felt a shiver run down their spine. They grew worried that something horrible had just happened. They didn't know just how right they were. Time skip Hokage Tower. Naruto and his team stood in front of the Hokage ready to hear what their next mission would be. Naruto wanted it to be a mission in which he could show the strength and skill his team had worked so hard to gain. The Hokage was reading through some mission scrolls. By the look he had when he finished the last scroll, he had found the one for them. The Hokage smiled at Naruto. I believe I have a mission acceptable to both the client and your team. It's a C-rank escort mission to the Land of Rivers. What are the mission details? Asked Naruto. A merchant is paying us to provide protection for his caravan while it travels from the Leaf Village to its hometown, a village near the border between Fire Country and the Land of Rivers. Naruto nodded in understanding. What's the mission duration, and should we expect any complications? It should take a week to travel to your destination and no more than 2 days to return to the village. Once your mission is complete, you can expect heavy bandit activity near the border, and once you enter River Country you should also be aware that the Rain Village's border is near the area, so you would do well to keep your guard up for possible ninja attack. It is unlikely that Hanzo would want to start any conflict with our village, but be ready for anything. Yes, Lord Hokage, said Naruto. Very well, you have 2 hours to get ready for your mission. You will meet the client at the Western Gate. Yes sir. Naruto and his team left to ready themselves for this mission. 1 hour later, Naruto was with Hinata at the Hyuga compound. He told her of the mission and when she could expect him to return. Please be careful, Naruto-kun. Don't worry, Heim, it's just an escort mission. I'll be back before you know it. Hinata didn't say it, but she had a bad feeling about Naruto's mission. She would have to trust Naruto would come back safely. Hinata knew his team was very skilled, so a typical escort mission would be no problem for them, but she couldn't help feeling that this wasn't going to be a typical escort mission. After saying goodbye to Hinata, Naruto met his team at the Western Gate. After meeting their client, they left the village and headed for the border of River Country at an unknown location. 2 individuals meet in secret. So it's true then the team from Whirlpool was sent on a C-rank mission yesterday? Asked the first individual. Yes, my sources have confirmed it. Answered the second. No doubt the Hokage is playing favorites with them. We will use this to our advantage and rid ourselves of a problem. After all, there is no telling what could happen out on a mission. I have taken the liberty of making arrangements for their team to meet with some unexpected complications on this mission. The first individual smirked at that. Excellent, and you made sure that things can't be traced back to us? Yes, answered the second. I spent a small fortune to make sure that the job will get done and be kept confidential. Then we must make preparations for when the news is made public. We must be ready to take advantage of our enemy's weakness. With the death of the Namake's heir, I will take care of everything. Be ready when I give the word. I will be and will contact you as soon as the deed is done, said the second individual. While the first nodded, they both left, certain that the Whirlpool team would not be coming back from their mission 4 days after leaving the Leaf Village. Naruto and his team found themselves at the border of the Land of Rivers. While the traveling in Fire Country was uneventful, they knew it was unlikely to remain so. After they crossed the border, the team had been traveling for only a few short hours in River Country when Haku returned from her scouting mission. The rest of the team met with her to hear what she found. Did you see anything unusual on the road ahead, Haku-chan? Asked Naruto. Yes, I did, Naruto-sama. Approximately 5 miles away, there are a large number of bandits hiding near the main road. They're likely waiting to ambush their next target, which will likely be us, said Naruto. How many bandits are there? Asked Shigeru. I counted 27 bandits after watching them for some time. I don't believe them to be a high threat as far as skill. We only have to worry about their numbers. What do you think is the best way to deal with them, Naruto? Asked Shigeru. Naruto knew she was testing him, testing his ability to strategize and lead his team. We have several options. First, we can look for an alternate route to avoid the bandits altogether. While preferable, this choice will cost us time and could lead to other unexpected complications. Second, we can continue to lead the caravan and defend it. This would put our clients and his property in danger, but with our combined strength we can subdue the bandits. Is that what you recommend we do? Asked Shigeru. Naruto shook his head. What I recommend is that we split our team, someone staying here to guard the caravan and others ambushing the bandits at their camp. With the element of surprise, we should be able to remove the threat to our client without placing him in danger. That would increase the level of danger for our team, though, stated Shigeru. We are ready for this. Our client is not, answered Naruto. Shigeru nodded. Very well. Do you wish to remain with the client or handle the bandits? Again she was testing him, asking if he would choose what was easy and safe or choose the difficult and dangerous way. I will take Haku and Kimimaro with me and take out the bandits while you keep guard over our client. Shigeru nodded. If you're not back in an hour, I will come for you. Naruto nodded in acceptance and immediately left with his team. The clock was ticking. Naruto and his team wasted little time in silently reaching the bandit camp. The plan was simple: hit the bandits fast and hit them hard, take as many of them out as quickly as possible before they could counterattack. The plan worked marvelously. The team spread out and using special communication seals and signal from Naruto. Once they were in place, all 3 of them rained down shuriken, kunai, and senbon down on the unsuspecting bandits. In less than 1 minute, most of the bandits were dead or dying from Team Whirlpool's initial attack, leaving only 10 survivors. The survivors rallied together in a defensive formation, blocking the incoming projectiles with skilled teamwork, making it hard for the Team to get hits on them. Naruto knew the element of surprise was gone and now they were going to have to finish the job the hard way. Kimimaro, I need you to scatter them, we'll pick them off one by one. Yes Naruto-sama. Without hesitation Kimimaro jumped down from the tree he was in and rushed the group of bandits, a bone blade emerging from each of his palms. The bandits were shocked by the speed and power Kimimaro displayed. He cut down 2 bandits before the others were able to react to his assault. Using his unique bloodline abilities, Kimimaro was able to defend himself from their attacks and kill 3 more using his digital shrapnel jutsu. After watching half of their numbers cut down by a child, the rest of the bandits did what Naruto knew they would. They fled. Haku and Naruto were able to easily pick them off with kunai and senbon as they tried to run away. Once the last of the bandits was killed, Naruto and Haku landed next to Kimimaro. Great job you two. I know none of us likes to needlessly take lives, but this was necessary. We couldn't let them continue to hurt people for their greed, said Naruto. Haku and Kimimaro nodded. Okay, let's get back to Shigeru-sensei. Naruto's team was about to jump onto the tree when suddenly senbon shower. Naruto's team jumped back as hundreds of senbon rained from the sky. Once the shower stopped, the team warily watched as 3 ninja with umbrellas landed in front of them. They were wearing headbands that identified them as ninjas belonging to the village. Hidden in the rain, the leader, a man with green hair and a striped purple outfit, was smirking at the Whirlpool ninja. Naruto's team was immediately on guard. Haku and Kimimaro took flanking positions at either side of Naruto. Naruto placed a hand on the hilt of his sword before speaking. Who are you and why are you attacking us? My name is Aoi Rokusho Jonin of the Hidden Rain Village, and to put it simply for you to understand, someone wants you dead real bad. My team will make a fortune once we kill you. You can try, but I assure you it won't be easy. Naruto drew his sword while Haku brandished many senbon and Kimimaro grew a bone blade from each palm. Naruto's team was ready for a fight. The rain ninja didn't look worried at all. Fool, you don't know how out of your league you are. I'm a Jonin and my partners are both seasoned Chunin. What chance do you think 3 genin have against us? Rank means nothing, Naruto said. I'll take the leader, you two handle the other 2. Remember your training. We're fighting for our lives, don't hesitate to put them down. Yes Naruto-sama, answered both Haku and Kimimaro. Aoi just laughed. He ordered his partners to deal with the spares while he finished their target. That's a nice looking sword, kid. I have a nice sword too. Naruto saw Aoi pull a small sword that made his eyes widen in surprise. Aio smirked, thinking Naruto's shock was fair. I see you recognize my legendary sword. Aoi then activated said sword, and the sound of electricity crackled loudly. This is the famous Raijin, the sword that once belonged to the second Hokage. Are you going to attack me, or are you planning to talk me to death? Asked Naruto in a bored tone, and while he appeared to be unworried on the outside, his mind was running through many scenarios of what he could do to assure his team's safety. Aoi growled at the punk's attitude and launched himself at Naruto. The battle was on with Haku. Haku was surprised at how slow her opponent seemed to be. He was trying to get her with senbon that came out of his umbrella. Haku was way too fast for his attacks to land. Haku used her superior speed to get in close and land several well-placed kicks and punches that quickly had her opponent on the defensive. When it was clear that Haku was the superior taijutsu user, her opponent switched to ninjutsu water-style water bullet. Haku used her agility and flexibility to easily avoid the attacks. Then Haku turned the water her opponent had summoned against him. Water-style water clone jutsu. Her opponent was suddenly surrounded by 3 clones that wasted no time in attacking him simultaneously. Even though the clones had only a fraction of the user's strength, the rain ninja had a difficult time defending against 3 opponents. When he finally was able to cut them down, the rain ninja was panting heavily and was covered in cuts and bursts. He was looking around wildly for Haku. It was then that he felt the unnatural coldness in the air. Out of nowhere, mirrors of ice materialized all around him, creating a dome that left him in the middle. The rain ninja saw the reflection of opponent in all the mirrors. Forgive me, but I have no time to waste. Naruto-sama may have need of me, so I will have to finish this quickly. The rain ninja saw the reflections draw handfuls of senbon. He only had time to widen his eyes before Haku launched a storm of senbon that the rain ninja had no hope of evading. When Haku cancelled her jutsu, her opponent was on the floor, his body so impaled by senbon he resembled a porcupine. With her battle over, Haku headed to meet with her teammates with Kimimaro. Kimimaro's opponent was desperately trying to keep the Bone Sword Kid at a distance. Since he was a long-range specialist, Kimimaro's bloodline limit allowed him to easily defend himself from the Rain Ninja's attacks. The Rain Ninja had tried to defeat Kimimaro with projectiles. When those proved useless, he tried long-range ninjutsu, but that was ineffective as well. All that his jutsu managed to do was keep Kimimaro far enough away to keep him from attacking with his blades. Kimimaro decided to attack him from a distance. Kimimaro withdrew the blades from his palms and pointed his fingers at the Rain Ninja digital shrapnel jutsu. The Rain Ninja knew what was coming, having seen the jutsu earlier, but was unable to dodge the attack fully. Two of the bone projectiles landed, one on his left shoulder and one on his right leg. That was what got him in trouble, seeing his opponent unable to fully dodge his attack. Kimimaro continued to send wave after wave of projectiles until his opponent was down and completely motionless. Unlike Haku and sometimes Naruto, Kimimaro rarely hesitated to use deadly force, though in his defense, when you were sparring with people as powerful as the teachers his team had in Whirlpool, you have to go at them with everything you got. Haku landed near Kimimaro. Let's go Kimimaro-kun, we must go and help Naruto-sama. Kimimaro nodded and both leaped away to go and find Naruto with Naruto. After only a short while, Naruto was able to get a good reading on his opponent. The first and most obvious thing Naruto noticed was that Aio was no swordsman. Aio did little more than hack and slash at Naruto, relying on the power of his sword to compensate for his lack of skill. Naruto could see how this strategy might work on someone else. The Raijin would normally be able to cut through anything, while sending massive electrical shocks at the same time. That is what would give Aio an advantage against most opponents. Unfortunately for Aio, Naruto was an Uzumaki. He had been trained in the most deadly Kenjutsu style of all and knew exactly how to defend himself against these pitiful attacks. Naruto also wielded one of the legendary elemental swords. The Heir negated the Raijin's ability to shock its opponent, and was strong enough to resist the cutting power of its lightning. Aio for his part was growing angrier by the minute. He was going at the blonde punk with everything he had, and it wasn't working. The kid was actually blocking the Raijin with his sword. That was something that had never happened. Aio usually was able to use the Raijin to overwhelm his opponents. This brat kept blocking and evading his attacks, and Aio was getting tired of being made a fool by a genin. How are you blocking the Raijin's power? There is no way that that sword can be a match for its power, so how are you doing it? Aio screamed at Naruto as he continued to swing wildly at him with the Raijin. Well, the answer is actually a simple one, Naruto said as he continued to block and evade. There are several legendary elemental swords known to exist. The Raijin of lightning, which you stole from the Senju, the Ryujin of water, said to have been lost at sea in a battle between the Mist and Cloud village long ago. The Inraya of fire, wielded by the famous Kannagi clan of Lightning Country. The Ruomoko of earth, held by the Beifam clan of Earth Country. The Kazujin of wind, that was said to have been owned by the son of the first Kazekage. And then we have my sword. Naruto and Aoi stopped fighting. Naruto held his sword with one hand in front of him, letting Aio get a good look at the sword he was wielding. The Heir of storms, once owned by the founder of the Uzumaki clan, now wielded by me. I am Naruto Uzumaki, heir of the land of whirlpools. Naruto then took his guard, and Aio prepared to continue their fight. It doesn't matter, all that means is I'll have two legendary swords once I kill you. Aoi then charged at Naruto again, but unlike last time when his sword stroke came down, Naruto didn't block or evade. He simply disappeared in a blur. What word did right here? Aio heard a voice from above and looked up. Hiten Mitsurugi style Ryusus, and Aio could only watch as Naruto, who had apparently performed a powerful jump, used the momentum of his fall to strengthen the speed and power of his two-handed strike. In a flash it was over. Naruto was next to Aio, flicking his sword to remove the blood as Aio's head was heard landing on the floor with a soft thud, his body falling to the ground. Shortly afterward, Haku and Kimimaro arrived as Naruto was sealing the Raijin into a storage scroll. Naruto-sama, are you okay? asked Haku worriedly. I'm fine, I'm not sure how this guy made Jonin, but he was surprisingly weak. He had no training in Kenjutsu that I could see, yet relied completely on his sword. How did it go with you? Are you both okay? Yes, both. Our opponent were somewhat skilled, but unprepared to deal against our bloodline abilities. Both Kimimaro and I are unhurt. Good, then seal the heads and burn the bodies. Someone planned this attack and may have planned something else. In case it failed, let's hurry and get back to Shigeru-sensei. Once we get back to the village, I plan on getting to the bottom of this. Let's go with that. Naruto's team left to finish their task and complete their mission. Time for payback. We'll have to wait until they found who ordered the attack, but once Naruto found out who, well, they would find out why you never pissed off an Uzumaki. Time skip Hokage Tower. And that is the end of our report. Hokage-sama, said Shigeru. Thank you, Shigeru-san. While I'm glad the mission was completed and the client was happy, I find the news of an attack targeted at Naruto very disturbing, as do we, Lord Hokage, said Naruto, and there was nothing else he said, anything that can point to who hired them to attack you. I'm afraid not. While arrogant Aoi wasn't stupid enough to give me his client's name, that is unfortunate. Regardless, you and your team have done a great service to the Leaf Village. Aoi was a traitor and a thief whom has finally paid for his crimes. Your team will receive the bounty for his head and the reward for returning the Raijin Speaking of that, I have not made up my mind whether I should return the sword or not, said Naruto. This confused the Hokage. What do you mean? The Raijin is a priceless artifact of the Leaf Village. I'm afraid I can't let you keep it. And what did you let happen to this priceless artifact? This is beside the point anyway. The Raijin doesn't belong to you or the Leaf Village. It belongs to the Senju clan, a clan that I am related to by blood and marriage. The Hokage rubbed his temple, trying to fight off the headache that was burrowing into his skull. Naruto, that sword is treasured by our people. It belonged to one of our founders and should remain in our village. I'm not sure how people would react if you kept it. If the people saw you using it, they might I have no intention of using it. My sword style is not made for two swords, and frankly the Raijin is impractical for someone who specializes in kenjutsu. It doesn't have a proper blade for some of the techniques I've been taught. But then why do you want to keep it? Because I don't really trust you to keep it safe. If what I read is true, then it only took a genin and a chunin working together to steal it in the first place, and both of the thieves were below average in skill. If I remember correctly. The Hokage frowned. I assure you that there was more to it than that, and the security measures would be much different this time. Naruto thought about it for a minute. Very well, I will return it to the village, under two conditions. And what conditions would those be? Asked the Hokage wearily. First is that I'm allowed to add some security seals to whatever security you place on the sword, and second is that instead of whatever monetary reward for returning it, I get a document signed by you and the council that states I can claim anything I want instead. The Hokage stroked his beard. The first would be no problem. The second would have to be within reason. It could not be something that endangers the village or that breaks any laws. You can't ask for an immediate promotion, for example. Of course I would never ask for anything like that, said Naruto with a smirk that made the Hokage nervous. Then I'm sure we can work out something that satisfies your conditions. Great, then we will take our leave. I'm eager to go and see Hinata. The Hokage smiled at that. Then you best be off. You will not be required to take another mission for a couple of days, so enjoy your time off. Naruto nodded and left the office with his team. Once out of the tower, he turned to his sensei. We will need to keep our ears open to find out who planned the attack. While my clan has enemies all over the world, something tells me that the one responsible this time is in this village. I will look into it, said Shigeru with Hinata. Hinata had just finished training with her team and was making her way home when she heard a familiar voice call her name. Hinata. She whirled around, a brilliant smile on her face as she saw Naruto leading Haku and Kimimaro towards her. Hinata ran to Naruto and threw herself at him. Naruto caught her with open arms and spun her around, laughing happily. You're back, exclaimed Hinata with joy. I was so worried for you. Naruto set her down before he answered. We just got back a little while ago. We gave our report to the Hokage and then came looking for you. It's only been a few days, but I missed you. Hinata smiled warmly at him. How was your mission? It's a long story. Why don't we get you home and we'll tell you all about it too. Hours later at the Hyuga clan. Wow, I can't believe you had to fight other ninja on your first C-rank mission. Yeah, luckily for us they underestimated us, and that gave us the opportunity to take them out so quickly. Do you have any idea who could have ordered the attack on you? Asked Hinata. Not yet, sensei. We'll look into it. Don't worry, once we find out who's responsible at payback time. Hinata knew whoever tried to have Naruto killed wouldn't be getting any mercy from him. Not that she expected anything less from him, she just hoped he wouldn't get hurt. So how is it for you and your team? Have you got any good missions? Asked Naruto. No, we have only done D-rank missions. We have only been genin for about a month, so the mission types aren't going to change anytime soon. Well, even though I find them boring, I guess doing a few low-rank missions won't be too bad. I did miss you while we were gone the last 2 weeks. Hinata blushed slightly. I missed you too, Naruto-kun. Maybe we can spend some time together tomorrow after we are done with training and our missions for the day. I would love that, said Hinata with a happy smile. Great, well we better head back before sensei comes looking for us. Naruto gave Hinata a kiss on the cheek that had her blushing again, and he and his teammates left the Hyuga compound the next day. After breakfast and some light morning training, Team Whirlpool was ready to start the morning missions. As they entered the Hokage's office, they could tell something was out of the ordinary from the concerned look on the third Hokage's face. Team Whirlpool is ready to receive our mission for the day, Shigeru stated, getting the Hokage's attention. Forgive me, I was reading some troubling news and I did not notice you come in. Is something wrong? Asked Naruto. I am not entirely sure, and that is the problem. The day before yesterday I granted another genin team a C-rank mission. It should have been a standard escort mission like the one your team received. Unfortunately, much like your mission, it appears things have become more complicated. This morning we received a message from the Jonin in charge telling us they had been attacked by a pair of chunin. It appears that our client wasn't entirely honest when he hired us. Isn't it protocol to terminate the mission if it's found out the client lied about the mission requested? Asked Naruto. Ordinarily yes, however there are some unique circumstances. The team chose to continue the mission because they felt it was the right Thing to do. I trust the Jonin in charge to be able to handle the situation. However, 2 hours ago a team of ANBU arrived with the captured ninja and I had them taken to the T&I department to have them questioned. I just received word from the department head and the news I received is unsettling. How so? Asked Naruto. The ninja were hired by a very wealthy man named Gado. We already knew this because of the report we received when the village was notified of the situation, but what we didn't know was that Gado has more missing ninja on his payroll, including an A-rank missing ninja from the village hidden in the mist that is named Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the hidden mist. Yes, I'm surprised you have heard of him, Naruto. My clan has had some issues with Water Country. Luckily for everyone, they have been too busy with their civil war to cause any problems. Actually, the newest reports show that the fighting has recently stopped. The faction supporting the bloodline users has taken control of the Mist Village. Then after a surprising victory over the Water Daimyo's forces, they have forced a ceasefire. The Daimyo has more men, but the ninja have the capital cut off from the rest of the country. I believe they will reach an agreement soon. If that is the case, then I hope the Water Lord is smart enough to let things be. If he tries anything against Whirlpool, my grandfather will not be merciful. Yes, well, we are getting off track now. While I believe the team I sent to Wave Country could handle a normal C-rank mission, this is no longer that kind of mission. Unfortunately, most of my Jonin and Chunin teams are out in the field on other assignments. The ones that are not are needed here for the protection of the village, and the Genin teams you have are not ready for this kind of mission. I can only think of one answer. The Hokage, as it would be considered a B rank, possibly an A rank mission. You would have to provide backup for the first team. If possible, you would need to neutralize Gado himself, permanently neutralize him. Can your team do this? Naruto didn't have to think about it. Yes, then you have your mission. You have 1 hour to prepare. The details will be ready for you before you leave. Yes, Lord Hokage. The team made to leave, but Naruto had one more question. So which team are we lending support to anyways? Team 7 led by Kakashi Ataki. Naruto knew who was on that team. He nodded and left with his team. Well, that's just great. Maybe he shouldn't have been so quick to volunteer his team to help. Oh well, at least he can throw it at the arrogant Uchiha's face that his team needed to be helped to complete their mission. Now his night out with Hinata would have to wait. He would have to send a message to her so she knows he will not be in town for a few days. The next day, in the Land of Waves, team Whirlpool had landed in the Land of Waves earlier in the day. While traveling towards the location they were told to meet Team 7, they came across an area that was recently a battlefield. What do you think? Asked Shigeru. There was an intense battle here. By the looks of it, there were several high-level jutsu thrown around. You're right, Naruto. We should hurry to meet with the Leaf Ninja. Yes, Sensei. It didn't take the team long to reach a nearby town, and what they saw there sickened them. Poverty and sickness was everywhere. The people looked miserable and afraid. For Naruto and Haku it was especially hard to see. It reminded them of the short time in their lives where they looked much like the people here. We have to help these people. Gado has to be stopped. Naruto was holding his sword hilt so tensely his knuckles were white. His team nodded, but first they needed to get to Team 7. They quickly made their way through town, and it didn't take them long to find the house they were looking for. When they knocked on the door, a pretty woman with long blue hair opened the door. May I help you? She asked. My name is Shigeru, and this is my team. We were sent here by the Leaf Village to help the team that escorted the man named Tazuna here. The woman was surprised, but happy to hear that. Oh, then please come in. My name is Tsunami. Tazuna is my father. They arrived earlier today, but we're in bad shape. The sensei was hurt. Most of all, he is still unconscious upstairs. Thank you. As soon as the team was inside, they heard a familiar voice shout at them. What are you doing here? Naruto rolled his eyes. The Uchiha had a way of getting on his nerves like no one else he ever met. Well, Sano-sensei came close, but Sasuke was the worst. We were sent here by the Hokage to deal with Gado and help you to deal with Zabuza, said Naruto, his tone completely flat. Sasuke, who stood up from the sofa that he had been seated on with his teammates, walked over and approached Naruto combatively, only stopping his approach when his face was within inches of Naruto's. We don't need any help from you. We can handle this mission alone, so you can leave because you came here for nothing. Naruto looked unimpressed. Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. So where's your sensei? We have a message for him from the Hokage. Sasuke's face reddened in anger at being dismissed like that, but before he could answer, Sai spoke up. Kakashi sensei is upstairs. He was badly injured in the battle with Zabuza. What happened? We saw the battle site on our way here. Don't tell them anything, yelled Sasuke. We can finish the mission ourselves. I have already told you that I don't take orders from you. Dickless. Sasuke was furious, but Sai didn't let him speak. We were attacked just outside the village. It was Zabuza Momochi. Kakashi sensei engaged him in one-on-one battle while we guarded the client. Kakashi was careless, and after a short altercation he was captured in a water prison jutsu. Dickless and I managed to fight off Zabuza's clones long enough To free Kakashi from the jutsu, Kakashi then re-engaged Zabuza, and since he was badly injured, I'm guessing it didn't go well for him that time either, asked Naruto. Actually, Kakashi fought well. He used his Sharingan to land near fatal injuries to Zabuza, but before Kakashi could deliver a fatal blow, another ninja attacked. Who was it? Another mist ninja. It is likely that he originated from the Mist Village. Even though he didn't wear a headband, he was a young male around our age. He had white hair, shark-like teeth, and wielded a large sword similar to the one Zabuza wielded. Zabuza called him Suigetsu. He is likely Zabuza's apprentice, and Kakashi wasn't able to take him. Suigetsu attacked Kakashi when he let his guard down, and Kakashi received a serious injury to the abdomen. Even then, Kakashi was able to fight him long enough for Suigetsu to realize that retreat was his best option. He grabbed Zabuza and left Kakashi collapse from his injuries and chakra exhaustion. Immediately after that, we have treated him as best we can, but we are not trained medics. Haku is fully qualified medic. She will look at Kakashi. Haku nodded at Naruto and left up the stairs to go and treat Kakashi. Are any of you injured? Asked Shigeru. No, we were not injured, only Kakashi-sensei was answered. Sai. Shigeru nodded. Do you have any idea of where Gado's base is located? The sooner we deal with him the better. This question was directed at Tazuna, who was sitting at a table drinking alcohol from a bottle. He has several warehouses around town where he deals in all his criminal activities. He also has a compound outside of town that used to belong to one of the nobles before Gado had him and his family killed. How many warehouses does he have? Asked Naruto. 4. He uses them to store drugs, weapons, and other contraband, including people. People? Do you mean human slaves? Gado's men have been taking women and children from town for months. They keep them around for days or weeks, but before long they are shipped out on Gado's ships, and they are never heard from again. It's why I'm willing to risk my life to build this bridge. I don't want that to happen to my daughter or grandson. Naruto was trembling in rage. His face hardened and jaw clenched. He shot Shigeru a look, and she knew exactly what he wanted. We will hit the warehouses at sundown. I will gather intel on them and return with a plan. You stay here with Kakashi and his team until I return. Without waiting for an answer, she disappeared with a body flicker technique. We will put an end to Gado and his men now. I need to go and see how Kakashi is doing with that. Naruto and Kimimaro left upstairs to look for Haku. They found Haku and Kakashi in one of the rooms. Kakashi was unconscious in a bedroll and Haku was using medical ninjutsu of some kind on him. How is he? Asked Naruto. The cut to his abdomen was a deep one. His students saved his life by stopping the bleeding. I have repaired much of the damage, so he will live. However, he will need bed rest for the near future. I have placed him in a medically induced coma to help him recover faster. He will remain unconscious for the next few days. When he wakes, he will be very weak for several days afterwards, but should make a full recovery within 2 weeks. That's good to hear. We came to tell you that we need to get ready for tonight. We found out some of the things Gado has been doing, and we are making a move against him tonight. We have his location. She asked. We do, but we will be attacking his interests first to weaken his hold on the village, then we will attack him directly. For now, we should ready ourselves for when Shigeru-sensei returns with the intel on the warehouses. We will be attacking tonight. The Whirlpool team wouldn't have to wait long. Shigeru would return only a couple of hours later, and they would be ready to land the first blow against Gado. Later that night, Naruto and his team made their way to the center of the village. In the cover of night, they had left the other genin at Tazuna's house as guards. Shigeru had wasted no time in gathering the information they needed on Gado's warehouses. The team had agreed that they would hit all 4 warehouses simultaneously, each of them taking one out. The largest and best guarded was where he kept his drugs before he distributed them all over the elemental nations. Shigeru would be taking this one out, as she didn't want to risk her students being overwhelmed against the best men. Gado had the second warehouse was used as Gado's armory. It's where he kept all his weapons, either for his men to use or to be sold in illegal arms deals. Kimimaro would be taking this one out. The third warehouse was where Gado stored all his supplies, food, clothing, and other consumables like medical supplies. It was from here that the little food available to the village came from at a high price, though Haku would be the one taking this one out. The fourth warehouse was used for storage, the storage of slaves. This is where Gado kept the women and children that were taken from the village and the surrounding areas. Slavery was illegal in most of the elemental nations, but that was not the case in some parts of the southern continent. There Gado made a fortune shipping hundreds of people that he snatched from the places like Wave Country here, though he didn't need to do it in secret because he controlled everything. Naruto made sure that he would be the one to take this place out. Okay, everyone knows what to do, right? Asked Naruto. His team nodded. Then let's go. We start our attack in 30 minutes. Teen Whirlpool disappeared in a blur as they separated in different directions. When the men guarding the door to the first warehouse saw a beautiful woman wearing a revealing kimono walking towards them, they couldn't help but grin. They were thinking that their boss must have sent a gift to them. They were so caught up in their daydreams that they didn't notice the woman had quickly come within arm's reach before either of them could say a thing. There was a flash of steel as the woman walked past them. The next moment the two men's bodies dropped to the floor, their now severed heads rolling away, idiot grins still on their faces. Without an alarm being sounded, Shigeru walked in the warehouse unnoticed. Moments later the sounds of screams and weapons clashing was heard coming from the warehouse for several minutes. When the sounds stopped, a single figure came out. The figure was carrying a long sword, and was covered in blood. Once looking closer, one could tell the figure was a woman. The woman pulled something out of her kimono and tossed it over her shoulder and into the warehouse. While she continued to walk, several seconds later there was a huge explosion and the warehouse was engulfed in flames. Shigeru had finished her part. She was confident that her students could do their parts too. Besides, it wouldn't be a good idea to let them see her looking like she did now. Naruto was still skittish around her. After all, Kimimaro didn't give the men guarding the second warehouse any chance to sound an alarm either. He killed them with his digital shrapnel jutsu before they even saw him. Kimimaro walked up to the door and slammed it open with a powerful kick. This got the attention of the 10 men that were inside. Kimimaro walked to the center of the room, letting himself be surrounded by the men that had drawn their weapons. Swords, spears and clubs among other things were pointed at him. The men stared as Kimimaro drew a bone sword from his shoulder and took a fighting stance. Knowing that the kid in front of them was dangerous, they all attacked him together. Dance of the Willow. Kimimaro used his superior speed and agility to dodge and weave through his opponent's attacks, while at the same time delivering fatal hits with his weapon. In less than 5 minutes after he walked in, Kimimaro had killed all the men in the warehouse. He quickly set the explosive tags given to him. A few minutes later Kimimaro walked out just before the warehouse was destroyed in a large explosion. With his job done, Kimimaro made his way to the rendezvous point. Haku was a little upset. She was given the easiest target and she knew it. Unlike the other warehouses, the third one had only 4 guards in it. It was probably because Gato controlled all the supplies coming into the country and knew nobody would be crazy enough to try and attack the only place where food was coming into the village. This made it almost effortless for Haku to incapacitate the men guarding the warehouse with her Senbon. Unlike the others, she was instructed to preserve the warehouse since they would be giving all the supplies inside to the people of the village. Once the men were securely tied up, she made her way out of the warehouse and left to meet with her team. She was going to have a serious talk with them about trying to keep her out of danger. After all, it was her job to make sure they were safe. Naruto would have loved to simply walk to the front door and start making all these pieces of trash pay, but he couldn't place the innocent people inside in more danger than they were already. Instead, he snuck in through a window on the second floor and kept to the shadows. It looked like the intel he got from Shigeru was accurate. The warehouse was one large room on the first floor where all the women and children were kept in cages. The second floor was a loft where there were 3 small storage rooms that Gato's men were using to entertain themselves with the captured women. Naruto could hardly control his rage. Flashes of the day he found Haku glared in his mind as he made his way to the door of one of the rooms on the second floor. Naruto didn't have to hear the noises coming from the door to know what was happening. The smell of sex was so thick it made him want to vomit. Careful not to make a sound, he opened the door and walked in. The room was tiny with only a small bed in it. Naruto momentarily froze as he saw a large man thrusting eagerly at a naked girl that couldn't be any older, 15. Without realizing he had moved, Naruto found himself standing behind the man. Naruto drew a kunai with his right hand while his left clamped over the man's mouth, paralyzing him with surprise. Before the thug could make a sound, Naruto drove his kunai into the back of the man's skull, killing him instantly. Naruto quickly turned to look at the girl who was looking at him in shock. Naruto threw the dead man off of her and gave her a sign to stay quiet. The terrified girl nodded. Naruto cut the ropes, tying her hands to the bed. In a soft voice, Naruto told the girl to stay there and not make a noise. He then did the same thing in the next 2 rooms. However, the woman in the last room screamed when he killed the man assaulting her. Naruto rushed out of the room expecting the scream to bring the rest of the men upstairs, but apparently a woman's scream was not important enough to investigate. Once Naruto made his way to the first floor, he started picking off men from the shadows, killing them silently. However, the last few men were all gathered at a table in the back drinking. Naruto was thinking of a plan on how to take them out all together when one of them suddenly got up and made his way to one of the cages. The cage he stopped in front held 4 younger-looking girls. Naruto's blood froze when he saw the man pull out a girl that looked younger than himself, maybe 11 or 12 years old. The girl had tears in her eyes and was trying desperately not to cry when the man started to unbuckle his pants. "Hey, I don't need to see what you do with her, you ugly bastard. Go use one of the rooms upstairs," yelled one of the men sitting at the table. "I can't. There Using all of them. Just shut up, I'm only going to play with this one for a little while. However, before the man could finish taking off his belt, a whistling sound was heard just before a kunai embedded itself on the side of the man's head. The men at the table were still staring the dead man when Naruto appeared next to them and cut two of them in half with a swipe of the erasure. The other three tried to draw their weapons, but an enraged Naruto didn't give them time. Naruto moved so fast he was a blur. The men died without being able to put up a fight. With the men taken care of, Naruto made his way to the cages and started cutting off the locks and freeing the women. There were tears of joy once they realized that Naruto was there to grant them their freedom. Naruto was leading the last of them out of the warehouse when Kimimaro and Haku arrived. I thought the plan was to meet at the spot we discussed, said Naruto. Naruto-sama was taking too long, so we came to see if you were okay, said Haku. Kimimaro nodded in agreement. Naruto shook his head. He knew they were just worried for him, but he was more than capable of handling himself. Fine, since you're here, help me get these people out of here. The safe houses that we set up with Tazuna's help are ready, and some of the men have started to empty the food and supplies from the warehouse I liberated. Good job, Haku. You too, Kimimaro. Now let's get these people out of here. Tomorrow we will see about dealing with that scumbag Gato himself. Naruto knew that they had dealt Gato a devastating blow tonight, but he was still a danger that had to be dealt with. Naruto wanted to deal with the piece of trash personally. He would make Gato pay for all the suffering the evil man had caused.